Hello and welcome to our channel. My name is Christopher. In this video, I will be discussing one of the methods in determining the required foundation depth where there are trees on site and where the underlying soil is shrinkable such as clay. Shrinkable soils such as clay will shrink or expand depending on its water content. During the summer, clay soils will shrink as its water content dries up. Trees, on the other hand, will absorb water from the soil, thereby influencing the amount and speed of shrinkage in the soil. Soil shrinkage and/or expansion causes damage to foundations and the structures above it. However, by forming foundations at the correct level, the risk of damage due to soil movement is reduced. Every job site is different. Thus, to make it simpler to demonstrate, I'm going to assume that the job site is in England and that the soil volume change potential is unknown. The foundation is for singly detached two-story house. The trees on site will not be removed and that we will be using the NHBC manuals in this exercise. The first step in the process is to identify the volume change potential of our soil. However, in the absence of a soils report, we will have to assume the worst case scenario. In this case, we will assume that the soil on site is highly shrinkable. The second step is to identify the trees that we want to analyze. If a tree survey is available, the tree parameters that we need can be found in the report. However, if a tree survey is not available, then we will have to gather the tree information, such as the features of the leaves or needles of the tree. This is where we take note of the size and form of the leaves or needles. We also need to measure the size of the trunk, the height of the tree, current height of the tree, and its location. On top of that, we also need the shape and form of its bark, fruits if available, or even the leaf buds. All this information can then be used to determine the tree species. There are online tree identification apps that can be used, and the physical properties of the tree that I've just discussed can be used to help in the identification. Books or field manuals can also help. The third step is to measure the distance from the approximate center of the tree to the face of the foundation. In our example, we will assume that our distance d is equal to 12 meters. Now that we know the species of tree based on the previous steps, step 4 is now to determine the matured height or fully grown height of the tree, and we also need to determine its water demand. The water demand of trees vary. This could be high, moderate, or low depending on the tree species. The matured height and water demand can be taken from various sources. This could be from a database that's available, or we could also make use of the NHBC manual. It's table 3, reproduced on the right of the screen. To use this table, for example purposes, we will use the tree called English elm, which is at the top of the line pointed by the yellow arrow. The matured height of it is 24, as you could see on the square box, and the water demand is high. So an English elm is a broad-leafed tree. After determining the tree's matured height and water demand, we now move on to calculate the influence radius. The influence radius determines the circle forming the influence zone of the tree. Foundations within the influence zone can be affected by the tree's presence. The influence radius can be obtained using Table 3B of the NHBC manual, reproduced on the right of the screen. When the water demand is high, the zone of influence could be taken as 1.25 multiplied by its matured height. When it's moderate, the coefficient is 0.75, and when it's low, the coefficient is 0.5. In our example, using the English elm, the influence radius can be calculated as 1.25 multiplied by 24. This is equivalent to 30 meters. Now, if the distance of the tree to the foundation is less than its influence radius, then the foundation is within the influence zone of the tree. And if this is the case, we proceed to step 6. Otherwise, the foundation depth could be taken as the prescribed minimum. From step 3, our the distance from the center of the tree to the face of the foundation, we took it as 12 meters, which is less than 30 meters, which is therefore within the influence zone of the tree, which the English elm. Moving on to step 6, again we will be using another table from the NHBC manual. This is table 4.2.13, which will lead us to determine the next table that we will be using that will lead us to the depth that we are looking for. Table is reproduced on the right side of the screen. From the previous example, we know that the volume potential is high and that the tree water demand is also high. Therefore, the table number that we could use next is table 11. Table 11 from the previous step brings us to step 7. This is where we determine our foundation depth. I've copied table 11 and reproduced it on the right hand side of the screen, and taking the data from our example, the English elm is a broadleaf tree, and we have a mature height of 24 meters. See where the green line is, green box. And we also draw a box from the distance to the foundation, which is 12 meters. The intersection of the green box and the red box is 2.5 meters. That is therefore the answer. So 2.5 meters is our depth from the normal ground level. There are some points to note in addition to the slides that were presented above. So if you've got more than one tree on site, then you will have to repeat the same procedure in order for you to determine the worst case scenario. Also, if the foundation depth calculated is in more than 2.5 meters, then you may need special foundations. Special foundations are normally designed by structural engineers. Also, there are alternative solutions in determining foundation depths. You could make use of softwares or apps or other charts, which are all available online. Most of these apps are free. However, there are also some softwares that you need to pay in order for you to use them. So there you have it. I hope you find this video informative. If you do, please give us a thumbs up. And if you would like to get some updates on our next video, please hit the subscribe button. See you in my next video presentation, and I hope you have a good day. Thank you for watching.